Hey there, fellow adventurers. A couple of weeks ago I completed a really awesome 200-mile ride over the course of 3 days and 2 nights. I pulled a trailer, as you can see here, hooked up to my bike for the entire way. I created a video covering my experience on the entire ride, and if you haven't seen it yet, check out the link at the top of your screen or in the description area below. It's a rather long edit divided up into 3 parts, but I guarantee you it's well worth watching the entire thing. So I've had a couple of people ask me about the gear that I carried on the ride, and I've even had a couple of requests from viewers asking me to create a video that goes over the gear. So that's what I'm going to do in this video right here. Now before I get started, I just wanted to say that all the products that I'm going to talk about in this video are products that I purchased and paid for with my own money. These are not any kind of endorsements. I wasn't sponsored in any way. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of each one and how they benefited me. If there was a part about each item that sucked, I'm going to tell you so. Now, one other thing I'd like to add before I get started here is, on this particular ride, I wanted to do something a little different. I have the typical frame bags and seat bags that are used in lightweight bike packing, but this was not a race. It was just kind of a ride with a group of great friends. I wanted to do something different. I thought about doing something a little over the top. I wanted to bring a few extra quote-unquote luxury items to camp with me, and I thought it'd be really cool experience to see if I could tow a trailer for the entire 200 miles. So that's why I did this. If you're interested in seeing what I use for more of a lightweight bike pack race type setup, I do have another video that I created around this time last year, and again, you can find a link to that in the description below or at the top of your screen. Okay, before I get into the trailer and what's in it, let's go over the bike real quick. Starting at the front here, oh, by the way, my bike itself, as you can see here, is nothing really special in terms of bike packing. I've had this bike nearly 5 years now. It's been absolutely fantastic. And I built it to be basically an all-arounder. It's built more of like a lightweight cross-country race spec, because I ride this bike on the road a lot, and I have done cross-country races and the occasional 12 and 24-hour type of race on it, but it's not specifically, or it doesn't have any specific attributes, if you will, that lend itself to a bike packing per se. Any bike packing that I've done, I've kind of just adapted it in various ways to work, and it has worked quite well. Let's start with the cockpit and the controls. Pretty standard cross-country setup here. This is my headlight, obviously. This is a USB powered headlight, and you see I got the power cord running all the way to the back, and this is the battery that runs it. I will be doing an in-depth review of my light setup in a future video very soon, because I am totally thrilled with this headlight. I've been using it for almost 2 years now, and it's just fantastic. And I think anybody that's an adventure rider or bike packer, if they're running a battery powered type of light, this is the type of light that they need. Okay, next up I have a mount here. This is called a RetiCam, and this is what I use to hold my phone. It clamps my phone right in here on my handlebars. I use my phone for video camera work and also as a GPS navigation device, and so that's what that's for. Down here I have another phone mount on my fork. That is another phone mount for video camera duty. I'm going to do a in-depth video again in the near future on how I shoot and record my videos while I'm riding, while I'm on bike packing trips, and the various equipment that I use to do it. So look for that in a coming video soon. Okay, up here on the fork leg, I've got this is basically a tripod mount that worked with a selfie stick that I had. Unfortunately, I lost the selfie stick in the woods during the ride on the first night, but I still have the tripod, and it's secured here with a velcro strap and a rubber block, called a bike block, and it's from a company called TwoFish. These things are fantastic mounts. If you ever have to carry anything long or round or whatnot anywhere on your bike, these things are just awesome for that. Also from TwoFish is a removable water bottle cage called a Quick Cage. This is a stainless steel cage. It's held onto the frame by a heavy-duty Velcro strap. My particular bike only happens to have one water bottle mount here in the frame, and of course when you're doing long bikepacking rides or touring rides, one water bottle isn't going to cut it. So I've added a second one here with this. When I'm back at home and just doing shorter rides around town and I only need one bottle, I take this off. On my long rides, I actually have 3 cages like this, and on my long rides I've been known to put 2 or 3 of them on the bike. They work really well. All right, behind my seat, just a really small seat bag, and the reason I put this on, it has a 10,000 milliamp hour USB battery pack inside, if you can see that, and I use a Samsung Galaxy S5 phone, again usually mounted up on my handlebars there, but to keep my phone charged on the long haul, I basically just taken the standard OEM charge cable that came with the phone and plugged it into the battery back here, and as you can see, I've secured it with the straps on the bag all the way to the front. So if I'm riding on the fly, I need to charge my phone, all I do is plug this into the charge port and I'm good to go. So that's basically it for the bike setup on this particular trip. So let's move back to the trailer back here. This is a Topeak Journey trailer, model number TTR-01. It is perhaps the lightest trailer of its type. It's about 4 pounds lighter than a Bob trailer, which is considered the industry standard, or probably the leader in that type of product. What sets this apart, this Topeak apart, not only is the lighter weight, it gets its light weight from its construction. It's an aluminum twin spar frame. This thing was fantastic. It took a beating on, I rode it on single track, 4 to 5 miles of railroad track bed. We went through water with it where I had the bag almost submerged. As you can see, I haven't even cleaned it up. It's still got dirt and mud caked on the back wheel and stuff. Fantastic trailer. It tows great. There's a quick glance of what the hitch setup looks like. The only thing I didn't really like about it, it's not that big of a deal, it's not a deal breaker, is that the hitch is not a quick release. It requires a 4mm Allen wrench to install, and if I have to take the wheel off, like to repair a flat, which I did numerous times on the ride I did, a 4mm Allen wrench is required. The hitch replaces the quick release that you would normally use. The other thing about this is because of the design of the hitch, it's rather limited as to what type of bike it will fit on. It fits on any bike with a standard 9mm rear quick release, but a lot of the newer mountain bikes have through axles, 15mm through axles, and they have the 148mm boost spacing on the rear end. This system will not fit that, and as far as I know, there is no solution to attach this Topeak trailer to a bike that has that type of an axle design. All right, moving right along here. First thing you'll notice on the trailer here is I brought a folding aluminum table along. I thought it'd be really cool to just go over the top a little bit and have a table at campsite. Okay, so I'm just going to start pulling stuff out of the bag here at random and kind of just explaining what everything is. Some things obviously will be pretty obvious, like, so I got 1 water bottle, 2 water bottles. This water bottle I had Gatorade mix in there, Gatorade powdered mix. The other ones I was just carrying water in. Next up I had all my electrical stuff in a bag. These here are called Me fans. These are USB powered. These are fans for the tent when I was camping at night in case it got hot. Luckily it wasn't that hot, so I didn't really use them, but I'm glad I had them. They go together like this, and they just plug into any USB power supply like this. and you know, they're great. They're flexible. You can adjust the angle of them where you want them to be. They look kind of like a gimmick, but I'll tell you what, in hot sleeping conditions in the tent at night, I carried 4 of these things, and like I said, it wasn't really that hot, but these things really do help. I did a one-night bike packing trip, I think it was last August, and I did not sleep at all because it was so hot and humid. I did not have these at the time, and the weather conditions are what prompted me to look for something. As you can see, these are really compact. They weigh next to nothing. I carried 4 of them on the ride. You can, you know, hang them up in your tent just about anywhere, and they're so power efficient. They'll run for days non-stop on a battery like this. Now, moving to the battery, I carried 3 of these. These are the Aibocn, kind of a generic brand, I guess, directly available from sellers in China online on eBay. These are 10,000 milliamp, you know, dual USB port. I carried 3 of these specifically to keep my phone charged. I had 2 in the trailer, and as I showed you earlier, 1 in the seat pack on my bike. And you know, I was using my phone heavily to record videos and whatnot, and use the GPS on my phone, and I never ran into an issue where my phone was running, you know, low on electrical power. These things are great. These things are only like 10 bucks each shipped from eBay or from Amazon, so definitely a worthwhile purchase. Next up, I brought a pair of headphones. I never actually used these. These are the stock Samsung headphones that came with my phone. Never actually used them at all though on the trip. Also Samsung wall plug charger, USB charger. Never used that either. Never had a reason to need to. This is a second battery. I have one of these on my bike, as you saw earlier. This is a 5200 milliamp hour USB battery that I use specifically to run my headlight. I can charge a phone with it if I need to in an emergency, but I brought 2 of these. What I like about them is they're small, they're light, they're compact, and my light will run a very long time, especially if I put it on the low setting on these. So carry 2 of these with me. Another water bottle, which this is probably bad Gatorade. I need to dump it out and wash this. Next up, change of clothes for when I was off the bike each night. This is what I wore in the campground. I keep it in a Ziploc bag, just to keep it compact and dry, although the trailer bag is 100% waterproof. In addition to a pair of shorts and a lightweight shirt, I have 2 microfiber towels in here, so wherever I was able to clean up and rinse off, I had a towel to dry off with. Next up, I have a solar camp shower from Ozark Trail that I purchased and never actually used, so I guess I'll either use this on a future trip or I might return it to the store since I never used it. Okay, in this bag here, I've got my maintenance and repair stuff for the bike, tire pump. This is a bottle of slime sealant that I bought on the last day. I should have had this with me to start, or what I really should have done, thinking about it now, is I should have added fresh sealant to my tire before I started. I didn't realize the sealant in my tire was mostly dried up when I started, and if you watch the video that I created, you'll see on day 3 I had a number of serious tire problems. Tire gauge, reason I rode with a tire gauge is I knew there would be a section on day 2 where I would be lowering the tire pressure to cover about a 5-mile stretch of railroad bed, and after the railroad bed, the intention was to pump the tires back up to higher pressure because we would be doing a long segment on the road. So that's where the tire gauge comes in. A little bit of chain lube, a small bottle of chain lube, doesn't have much left. This is White Lightning, not really the best chain lube, but it got the job done. Tube, this tube's actually no good. I used up all the good tubes I had on the ride. I actually started with 2 tubes. Okay, in here I've got a folding Allen wrench set with a chain tool. This is from Rock Brothers, which is another China direct seller that you can find on Amazon and eBay. It's got a chain tool, Phillips screwdriver, flat screwdriver, Torx bit, and all the various Allen wrenches that fit my bike. Also have 2 quick master links for my chain in case something went wrong with my chain. And this is empty right now, but this is a glueless patch kit from Slime also. I had 2 of these. These had 6 patches each. I also had some glue type patches in here, but I used all of those on day 3 of the ride. Okay, last but not least, I carried a few zip ties. I actually did use a couple of these on day 3 concerning a tire repair. Here, just empty bags to put trash and garbage in. Loud car over there in the background. These are just my shoes that I wore in camp when I was off the bike. Okay, this is a 20-watt solar panel from PowerAdd. I used this during the ride, primarily starting on day 2 and day 3. I had it basically mounted on top of the trailer like this. I was using it to recharge the 10,000 milliamp batteries that I was carrying. As you can see, it has 2 USB ports. Works very well in direct sunlight. I used it to charge my phone and also recharge the batteries back while I was riding and while I was stopped. Next up, can of bug spray. This was invaluable at camp at night. Toiletries, got toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, and toilet paper for obvious reasons, and also some Band-Aid bandages. Another inner tube, it's no good. This here is a chest mount. It's actually a chest mount GoPro mount, but I put a phone holder on it to get chest mount camera shots, but I didn't actually use it on this trip. Some dirty, nasty clothes from day 1, bike shorts and jersey. Need to wash those. A pair of arm warmers. Food. This is the only remaining food item that I have that I didn't use. Can of sweet corn. I actually started the trip with 2 of these, 2 cans of green beans, 6 granola bars, about 6 packets of instant oatmeal, and then enough Gatorade. I had a full bottle, as I showed you earlier. This was filled with Gatorade powder. So that's what I carried with me for the entire weekend for foodstuffs. And of course, there was a couple of times along the way where we stopped to eat. Next up, this is an S.O.L bivvy. S.O.L, not implying what you may think, but this is basically a lightweight heat reflective blanket. This thing only weighs about 8 ounces, and it opens up like a sleeping bag, and that's what I slept with on the 2nd night, just to stay warm, because there was one point where it got a little bit chilly. Some more foodstuffs. Had a couple of bags of sunflower seeds. Tums tablets. I always do my long rides with a supply of Tums because the main ingredient in these is calcium carbonate, and it does really well to help prevent muscle cramps, leg cramps, that sort of thing. So I usually chew a couple of those every couple hours. And plastic forks, spoons, and knives. Okay, this must have fallen out of my repair kit, just tire levers. Okay, inflatable camping pillow. This is a self-inflating pillow. So all I've got to do is, take the strap off, basically unroll it, make sure the valve here is open, let it sit there for a minute or 2, and it'll inflate itself. Really comfortable pillow. It's kind of a generic no-name brand. I got this on eBay. I think it was about $6, $6 or $7. In here I have a pair of waterproof pants and a rain jacket. So this was in case we hit some really inclement weather. I never actually had to use these on the ride. Portable gas cooking stove, really miniature stove. That's what it looks like when it's opened up. You can, if you watch the video of the ride on day 3, you'll see that I started the video with this stove being used. It threads and mounts right onto, this is a Primus, a can of Primus butane fuel. I think this is what, this is 8.9 ounces, so this basically threads right on there. This is a self-igniting stove, so once you turn the gas on, you just press the button here like a lighter and it makes a little spark, and it gets the flame going. Really cool little stove. All right, next up I brought a hanger to hang up my sweaty and wet bike jersey and shorts in the tent. So I used that, I guess it was night 2. I didn't use it on night 1, but I was prepared. Okay, here I have a child size folding camp chair, just to sit around at the camp. I'm not going to unpack it. I'm sure you know what a camp chair looks like. If you don't, there's a picture of it on the bag. So I carried that with me. It was pretty cool to have, just something a little extra, a little over the top. And here I have a Coleman, this is called a Coleman QuickBed. It's a, you know, rather heavy item for bike packing, but again, like I said, I wasn't concerned with being lightweight and all that. But this is a, I guess it's a twin size bed. It's about 8 inches thick, I think, when it's fully inflated, and it is super comfortable. This is like the most deluxe bed I could think of for camping purposes. Glad I brought it. Loved it a lot. Next up, Ozark Trail 2-person tent, 7x7 dome tent. Picture of it on the bag here. Plenty of room. This thing's probably about $30. I think it's actually a Walmart product. And for 30 bucks, I don't see how you could go wrong. I mean, I see a lot of other tents that are, you know, $150, $200 and up. And, you know, this thing weighs roughly about 4 pounds as you see it here. And I thought the quality and performance and construction of it was just great. I brought up some cord, which I never actually used. Trash bag. Now, the reason I brought this trash bag is to inflate the QuickBed. What I did is you open up the bag and cut a small hole, cut a corner off to make a small hole, and put the bag over the nozzle, the air nozzle on the bed, the air inlet rather, and kind of clamp it down with a rubber band tightly, and then you use the bag to catch air and then close off the top and then force the air into the bed. So by doing that, I'm able to inflate the air bed in under 5 minutes, and this method works really well. I brought also a tarp as kind of like an awning for the tent, since it does not have one, although I never used this on the trip. And to support this tarp, I brought an extra set of tent poles, which also never used either. So that's about it. So I hope this video has given you some insight into the gear that I've used on the river to sea loop ride with the trailer. Once again, you can find the links to all of the products I've talked about here in the description below. You can purchase them on eBay or on Amazon, and any purchase that you make via any of those links, a small percentage of it will go toward helping to support this channel and helping me to continue to make content like this. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.